rapper Bun B from UGK is trending right now on social media for sharing an emotional testimony about his wife being held at gunpoint.
She can't communicate, and I get so angry all again because she didn't deserve it. She didn't ask for this. She didn't ask for this. The next morning, um, she got out of bed and went down to the kitchen, and I heard her scream, and I went down to see what was wrong, and she had her back turned, and she was crying, and I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" She was like, I can't." She was just shaking furiously. I can't." I was like, "Well, you can't." She's like, "I can't look at those stairs." And it was from that point where we realized like she couldn't even be in that house. It is because, there are times where she gets closed off. She can't communicate. And I get so angry all again because she didn't deserve it. She didn't ask for this. She didn't ask for this.
So it says 5 years ago, Bun B and his wife were the victim of a home invasion, during which the rapper's wife, Queenie, was held at gunpoint. Bun B took the stand during the sentence hearing and shared an emotional testimony about the trauma that was inflicted on his wife that day. He recalled that the doorbell of the residence rang when Queenie answered. The then 20-year-old Demonte Jackson, which I saw in the orange, forced his way into the home and held her at gunpoint. So this was him testifying against homeboy. So thoughts?
I want to read that quote there. This is an entirely new traumatic incident, he said. This is something we still deal with to this day. There are times when she gets closed off, she can't communicate, and I just get so angry all over again because she didn't deserve this. And the guy pleaded guilty. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the shade room is really cleaning the comments because these weren't the comments that first were popping up.
What happened? What were the comments before?
There was a mixture. It was some of these. There were comments like this. That was a real man that that certainly recognizes that this isn't considered snitching. It's a man who loves his wife. There were people clowning him. This was why this made its rounds on social media. People were like, "Oh, gangster rapper Bun B of Rap a Lot Records from Jay Prince testifying on a sentencing, crying, so that another man could go to jail." And then there were people like, "Grow up." He's however old he is. He's probably like in his 50s, right? And just saying that's a dude who stand up for his wife. So I think I know where you guys are going to fall on this, but still just going to ask, how do you guys feel about that aspect of it, of him being a quote unquote gangster rapper?
I could, not that I agree with the other side and them saying what they're saying about him being he's a gangster rapper, da da da. People who don't live that life, I expect them to have that kind of mindset. I expect them to have that kind of response to something that Bun B says. You know what I mean? And it is also like if Bun B really did the majority of things that he be talking about in his rhymes, or if he's really that hood with it, or whatever, I guess people's mindsets could be, oh well, if he could do it to somebody else, why is he mad that it happened to him? You know what I mean? Like those thoughts run through their minds in those comments, but I just find it to be very ignorant. I find it to be very ignorant. It doesn't. I don't think those things matter, especially if you're really trying to make changes in your life and you're trying to do better for your family. Um, and it doesn't matter. It's somebody that he loves and he cares about. You know what I mean? Like, and he has shown how much he loved and cared about her by going up in that stand and literally putting his heart on the line to talk about to talk about that testimony. It like for him to do that, like that's not a gangster thing. That's just a real man thing. It's like I thought about that too. Like seeing this, if I knew in my own house and I wasn't there, and my wife was held at gunpoint in my own house, how that hurts as a man. Like for as a man, like yo, I couldn't even protect my house, and I couldn't even protect my wife. Like I'm over here doing something completely different. I think I fear that a lot when Alexandra, my wife, leaves out the house by herself sometimes. It's like, yo, I wish I was there. I wish I was there to be there for her at all times because I want to make sure she's protected, you know? So for them to say that, maybe they never been married before, and maybe they never lived the life of a gangster before. But either way, it's very ignorant comments that was made. And I'm glad that the shade room like is cleaning up those comments. They don't need that.
I think for me, so I looked it up. Bun B is 51 years old, and him and his wife have been married for 21 years, right? So I think that's important context to all of this as well, because this is who you're talking about, you know? Um, I understand the mindset of like, man, is this snitching? It's a very narrow-minded um, aspect, a narrow-minded point of view because you're talking about some. At the end of the day, it's you and yours first that you have to. All of us. That's how we have to view life. It's me and mine first. Um, and it's either I kill you or I pursue justice in the means of the law. It's one or the other. Because after you put a gun to my wife's head, it's one or the other that's happening. And if I don't get to the first one first, then yeah, the second one is gonna happen. Because I'm not gonna have you walking these streets after you barged into my home and put a gun to my wife's head. No. And now she has to live with the trauma of that, you know? So yeah, I think this is a very I respect him even more because this is what maturity looks like. This is what it looks like. You know what I mean? When you've grown past all of that and you know what's important to you and you shed tears for what's important. So I got nothing but respect for him. And yeah, it's sad. It's sad that another young man has to go to jail. It's sad that his wife had to be treated that way, and that the family's going through this. But I mean, I respect the course of action so far.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it is snitching. Um, it is though, but I say that with a caveat. I don't know if I'm using words right.
No, you're
It
doing
is
it.
it is snitching because it's cooperating. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
cooperate. Period. If that's the rules, right? And Texas, like California, is a very political state, right? You could get that man touched in prison. Texas is a lot like California, where there's a black car, there's Hispanic cars, you have Tango Blast, you have Mexa Emmy, you have I'm talking about like prison movements that if you put a bag or two up, you could get that man touched behind them bars, right?
Mm,
You don't got to do all this. Now, I say all that to say this though: is it so bad that he's snitching? You know what I'm saying? Because when we say he's snitching, let's break it down. What are we really saying? We're saying that he shouldn't cooperate. Why? What's the alternative? Because he's supposed to handle him on the streets or get him touched behind jail. Well, at 51 years old, does that make sense for a man? Probably not. And we
mm,
talking about a person who's not really proclaiming to be in the streets anymore. This was a rapper for real, for being for real. I'm not saying he's not who he was portraying in these rap songs, but I'm saying it was probably a long time ago that
Right.
he was that person in these rap songs. And he
Right.
is a businessman now. Like you said, he's been married for 20 some odd years. It doesn't make sense for him to put his freedom on the line. It just doesn't make
Yes.
any sense for him to put his freedom on the line. So yeah, it is snitching, it is cooperating, it is tattletelling. Yeah, I mean he's doing it for the purpose so the guy gets more enhancement on his years. The thing is though, when you're 51, when you're living life right the way you're supposed to be lived, and you're not hurting anybody, you're not doing things illegally. Joe, wake up. You're not doing things illegally. You're trying to live life by the book. I think this is how you go about life. Now,
Yeah.
I got to be very clear. I don't agree with all forms of snitching, like what Takashi did. I don't like that, and I never liked that. I think that's some of the most sucker snitching you could ever do. But that was
Yeah.
because he was sending people on dummy missions, got caught, and on violence that they committed on his behalf, he told on them. That's
Yeah,
just such
that's a whole different genre of it. Yeah.
now this isn't that. But
Nah.
I want y'all to understand that this is okay to do, and this is okay to do at whatever age. If you're in high school, this is what I want to get to here. If you're in high school, right, and somebody does something crazy, and you're not in the streets, you just in high school, but you go to a street high school, and somebody does something crazy to you. You know what I'm saying? Let's say
Mhm.
they pistol whip your moms, right? Put her at gunpoint. If that guy is caught and you go to testify, everybody is going to say you snitching. 100% fact. But should you snitch? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. That
Yeah.
you're not in the streets.
You know why? Because this version of snitching is actually you protecting your this is him protecting his wife. That's
And
how
there
he
is
protects his wife.
no real alternative. I can't get you touched because once I get you touched, I get played out of my position.
Right.
I'm no longer free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've always felt like that about like parents who kids get abused. I know there's like rage, so you can't stop it. But I've
Right.
always, whenever I see something and like the kid is still alive, but they've been through what they've been through, and then the parent throws their freedom out the window, I'm like, man, your kid really needed you, gang. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, but I get it. I get it. Those are harder. Those are crimes of passion. Those are way harder to control.
Yeah.
But in terms of like this, yeah, this is probably the best thing Bun B could have did. Is it snitching by our standards? Yeah. Should it be something that we look down upon? I think we're evolving as a culture. Probably not. Try not to break into my house with my wife and point a gun at her. But
Yeah.
maybe that makes me square now. I don't know.
No, no, I think it's like a lot of things. I think it's time for certain aspects. I'm not like you said, not with like the type that Takashi did. No. But
Yeah, like
certain aspects,
if me and you go half on a brick and we get caught and I get caught and I just start giving your name and your
right.
social, I'm a clown.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That type, you a clown. This type, I think we gotta learn as a culture to differentiate these things and be able to differentiate this and allow men to feel comfortable enough to protect their women in this way. I think that's okay. And we're actually, when we get this narrative and talk down to them and like, oh, you snitching, and oh, this is some coward stuff, or all that stuff. When we try to treat him the same way that we treat Takashi, that's a problem.
I
That's
will
a
say
problem.
I do think people are gonna put the snitch jacket on him. I think Bun B can't get into another rap feud ever again. I
Is
think
he
you
trying to though? I feel like he's done. I feel like he's all right. Like, like he's chilling. He just wants his wife in his home.
yeah, but it's the yeah. I mean, they tried to call Drake a snitch for what happened at the Chinese restaurant, right?
I mean, yeah,
I feel
like,
like, well, here's another thing. If we're gonna get into the topic of snitching, I think it's been very watered down,
yeah,
um, because of where it's at now in this era. It's not the same no more, bro. Like to I think back then we will look at Bun B doing this. And yeah, so some people might. I'll still see people find it disrespectful, but I feel like now in 2024, these Twitter fingers, you know what I'm saying? Like these comments that keep posting up on that they're cleaning up. Like I know you behind that screen, and you don't know about that life, bro.
I do think there are people who are really in the streets who are gonna have a problem with this because it's taboo to go on the stand by all means.
It's what I'm saying. It's what this this is watered down. What people are doing on the internet is watered down. Yes, there's a core thing in the streets, and I agree with you with that. But I feel like those people that talk like that, there wasn't not many people utilizing that word all the time in the streets for real. When we say
But
stop
I
snitching,
think it always
there was a reason behind it, and we spoke about this in a past episode.
see. Look right here. Juice said, Juice, I want to push back on this, but let me just read it. His wife is a witness should have been good enough. She's a citizen. No one would look at her or him different. But for Bun to go on the stand, I ain't like it. Here's my thing, though.
Oh, man.
I get what you're saying, Juice, because it do look crazy. A man going on the stand and trying to give a dude more years looks crazy. But what else could he do? Like, he can't, if he hurts the dude, if he puts money behind hurting the dude, he could be his freedom, his money, his assets, his businesses go all out the window. If he doesn't do anything at all, it could eat him up forever.
I feel like he is a man that wasn't there to protect his wife. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just a small story, not a funny story, actually a serious story. My wife and I were at a party, and there was a guy at that dinner that I'm acquainted with and she's acquainted with, and they got into a bit of a debate about a certain situation. Because I'm acquainted with this guy, I wasn't thinking that he would be disrespectful or any way, shape, or form. So I wasn't really listening to Joe. Wake up! Wasn't really listening to what he was saying for real. So then my wife, when we came home, my wife told me I felt like I had to be by myself and defend myself when this dude said what he said. And I said, "What did he say? I didn't even hear what he said." And he's like, "You were right next to me. You didn't hear anything he said?" I said, "Honestly, I was talking to somebody else at the party. It was loud, whatever." So basically, what happened was he said some wild stuff to her, kind of low key, kind of wild, and literally because I checked out, I wasn't there to kind of interject and be like, "All right, Joe, chill. Like that's my wife that you talking about."
You checked him?
I didn't. I didn't get to check him. I don't know where he is now. Like we were acquainted, but I don't check for him. I don't look for him or whatever. But I didn't get to. But the fact that I didn't get to check that dude to this day, like I'm talking about this story right now. To this day, I feel it gets me so frustrated because I know I'm not like that. And now, anytime we have a conversation, I'm always checking in on the conversation. Anytime my wife has a conversation with somebody else, and I feel like they're trying to get at her, I now try to interject and be like, "All right, Joe, da 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 da."
Now, but wait, there's a flip to this though.
But no, let me finish. Like that feeling that even though I do all of that feeling of like, dang, wasn't there for that one thing, still kind of hurts a little bit in the heart when I think about it. Just imagine the dude put the gun to my wife's head, and I wasn't there to help that situation. I'm gonna be like, that hurts, bro. That hurts. And the only thing you have now is to testify, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To testify against it. Like that's the only thing I got left. I bet you he wanted to put hands and feet on him.
He could.
You want to go and call.
He could. He could if he wants.
That he could and do all the things that he could. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure
But if you go this route, you can't do no tough guy stuff no more, man. Because none of the street dudes is gonna respect it. You can't go back and forth. You either tough or you not. Like you can't go back and forth with it.
I think
I get
I
the
think
rule. I get
it's
the rule of the streets, but I also feel like I feel like the streets don't got no time to have
I
a
mean,
life.
yo,
You know?
it's some gangsters that snitch.
we gotta be able to discern certain things here though. Like this can't be like an all like one size fits all situation. It can't. And the
Nah, but
automatic like
I'm with it if you are renouncing all violence here on out. If you no longer gonna be like shooting at people or getting people shot or killing people, or getting people killed, then this is your only recourse. But if you
All
do
right.
this, and then the next issue you have, you running
Can we
down on
backtrack?
people.
If someone what if someone put a gun to his head and someone try to fight against him and he tried to fight back to defend himself? That's violence, right?
No, he could do that.
So
He could
does
do
that
that. He could
mean?
do that. He could do that. I don't mean that.
Okay.
I don't mean that. You can never bully a dude ever again, though. You can't bully a dude ever again. You can't run down on somebody for talking about you ever again. I mean, you could do whatever you want.
Well,
And
that
if
makes
you really
sense because
if you really built
it
like
is a
that,
contradiction. But at
and if
this,
you
but the same. Go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
no, I'm saying if you really built like that, you could do whatever you want. You might get away with it, but people are gonna step away from you because you look funny now. Now you that's the most dangerous thing in the world is a snitch who's with the business. Like Alpo. A snitch who murder game is crazy is the most dangerous person in the world. You never know what game they're gonna play with you. You never know if they're gonna kidnap you or kill you, or if they're gonna testify against you. That's a hard game to play.
see that's that
Testify
thing though.
against you when you put a gun to my wife's head or my child's head.
How does he end up getting the same result as a Takashi?
I didn't say he gets the same results as the Takashi. There are some people who is gonna look at this. There's people who know Bun B. Bro, there are people in the Rap-A-Lot camp that I promise you's group chat went crazy today. There are people in the Rap-A-Lot camp.
You saw what that new Bun B did?
I hate it had to be. I always knew he was a sucker. That bald-headed sucker. That happened today. I know that happened today. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, if you're not gonna be street and that's not how you're gonna handle your business, this is the only way to handle it, and you got to be okay with it.
I just want to know, like everybody in the Rap-A-Lot camp, are they married?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, let's say hypothetically speaking, they all are married. Let's say, like I feel like at some point,
If you hold,
if you, I feel like one of the biggest things is family. When you,
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of gangster movies.
let me tell you something.
Because I lived in the hood. I'm chilling. But I ain't no gangster. Point
Let
blank.
me ask you a
I just
question.
never lived that
Can I
life.
ask you a question? Let me ask you a question. This is a real life situation. Quavo and Takeoff were being escorted by Rap-A-Lot, right? Jay Prince's sons was with Quavo and Takeoff. When they're having that dice game at the bowling alley or whatever they was at, they was under the protection of Rap-A-Lot. There was a back and forth. Shots went off. Takeoff got killed. There are witnesses. They were Rap-A-Lot people who were the witnesses. Okay? Nobody ever came out and identified who the killer was because that's not part of their culture. They don't do that. They don't point them out. So I think I could take that and I could probably say this with confidence. If anybody was to hold Jay Prince's wife at gunpoint, I don't think he's snitching. I also don't think that guy's ever going to make it to jail. I think that guy's out of here before he hits the yard. And I think that's how you're expected to handle the situation if you say that's how you handle situations. But if you're done with that, if you renounce that and you don't want to live like that, which I don't want to live like that, this is cool. But I don't think you could go back and forth.
But it's kind of like these these guys are judging Bun B's level of gangster because
It ain't.
he
It
didn't
ain't
he
level.
didn't he didn't kill a man. You're like he said, he has millions, he has assets, he has different things that he needs to protect on top of that, and most of all, his family. Things change when you build family. Things change when you want to build something for yourself. And it's crazy because it's like, yo, you want to build something for yourself, something that's gonna outlive you. You want to build legacy, and sometimes it's just hard. It's so like it's like the people that you grew up with, the people that you rolled with and stuff like that. Um, because you're making certain decisions, it's like, yo, forget you then. And it's kind of like, why I gotta be that way? You know what I mean? Like, why I gotta be that way? I'm trying to make moves for myself. I'm trying to do better for me. I'm trying to do better for my family. And it's like I want to do better for you too. And I just hope that like those people are still cool with will still be cool with him as if it was there's no like if listen, the dude is getting flipped, like the gang's still there to whatever, like if we was all in a gang and I decided I'm building something, and then but I decided to I got into a similar situation like Bun B did, and I testified. I'm hoping that even though you guys might be in the game, y'all still gonna come to my aid if I got jumped or something like that. That's the thing. Like now, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be able to walk the streets with my guys if and then something crazy is gonna happen to me. Like it's weird to me. You know what I'm saying?
But
But
you might not even
um,
be living like that anymore. You might not even be having situations where you need people to have your back because you might just be playing golf and watching
it's the thought
plays.
that counts. That's what I'm just saying. This is the thought that counts. Let's say I'm playing golf and then we got a bunch of white people calling me racist, whatever at the country club. Like, oh, what's this black guy doing here? Like
We throwing
we
hands,
about to go to
Martin.
war. We throwing hands at the country
That's
club.
it.
You know what I'm
Golf
saying?
clubs to the face.
Because I snitched. Oh, no, you don't live that life no more, Kyle. So don't get that golf club and hit him
It,
upside the head.
there's some people who's going to tell you that. There are some
That's
people who say that to you.
That's
crazy. That's
crazy.
not crazy to you. That's what I'm trying to. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Ain't no coming back.
Nah, ain't no coming back.
Yeah. It hurt all our hearts to see Troy Ave go on that stand. Every Troy Ave fan, when they seen Troy Ave go on that stand and try to put Tax in jail, that hurt, man.